Welcome back to Parlor City Voice, another episode of the podcast about what's happening around the great city of Bluffton. I'm Councilman Rick Elwell with Mayor Scott Mincer, and we have a guest with us, Mike Lautzenheiser. Mike, how are you?
Doing well,
Good afternoon. Hey, you know what, Scott? I saw a cat running around here. What's the deal?
I don't know. Let's pin that for a little bit, and maybe we'll figure it out. We'll sort it out a little later in the program.
All right. Well, so Mike is not only our area plan guy, but he is also...
Is that the real title, area plan guy? Is that what the
works for
business
me.
card says?
That
That's
works for
the
me right now,
informal
yes.
title, right?
Okay, all right,
That's
just
right.
checking.
Yeah. All right, what is your actual complete title?
Wells County Plan Commission Director.
There you go. I like area plan guy.
I do too. I think I could switch the business cards
hip.
tomorrow.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Is that APG for short, area plan guy?
If you're into acronyms, absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mike is also involved with Wells County Trails, and I mean deeply involved, right? You've been passionate about that for some time, and that's why you're here today. Let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, so let's start because there's several angles on trails here in Wells County, but we have some really nice ones. We do. Let's talk about the 124 project. Can we do that first?
Sure. So the State Road 124 project is probably our biggest trail project or need in the city of Bluffton and possibly even in Wells County in general. It has been the crux of the conversation of multiple surveys going back to our comprehensive plan, the Vision 2035 plan, when we're preparing for that. And even here recently in the city's safety survey, the State Road 124 East, going to the mobile home park, connecting to the interurban trail is a key safety need in the city of Bluffton.
And let me just jump in on that for a little bit.
Please.
So, one of the things the city is really working hard at is to try to get access to as many grant opportunities as possible. And there's grants called Safe Streets for All that are out there, and many communities get access to those monies. But one of the requirements to be able to apply for Safe Streets for All money is to create a comprehensive safety action plan. And we're in the process of doing that currently. Mike, because he's part of the Trails Group, is a part of that. And the 124, this corridor or this trail opportunity is one of those targeted areas that the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan has sort of ID'd as being one of our key targets because we believe, based on the data and based on anecdotal evidence, that it's a big safety concern.
I think that there isn't. I've heard so many stories about incidents with folks walking on 124 east of town. It is definitely a big concern. I think there's a gentleman that rides a power scooter back and forth, super concerned about people, and safety. And I've been through there at night, and there again almost hit somebody because they were in the dark and didn't see them. They weren't lit well. So I'm really happy that we're moving on this, and I think a lot of people are as well. Social media has, as you know, has made comments whenever it comes to trails. There's somebody that's throwing in, hey, what about a sidewalk on 124 right out to the trailer park? So I think that's great.
Yeah, so one of the things that was really neat this year is that through the Wells Community Foundation and the Eli Lilly Foundation, we were able to get a $25,000 dollar-for-dollar match grant, which Wells County Trails spearheaded the fundraising efforts for, and we were able to meet that and exceed that amount. So right now, Wells County Trails has about $90,000 to go to promote the next steps for this trail project because of the need that we've seen, that we really want to see this develop out and become a key piece of the answer of that safety mechanism there. We also were able through NERC, which is the Northeast Indiana Regional Coordinating Council, they came out, they set up sophisticated cameras to help us figure out what the existing usage for pedestrians and cyclists were on the State Road 124 route. What side of the road they operated on, what mode of transportation they were using. And of the places that we checked with that, it was definitely the highest need just by that evidence alone.
Could you talk just a little bit about that? Because those cameras are fairly new on the scene, and a lot of folks who don't know what they are coming up with all kinds of things that they think they're there for, and really it's just traffic study.
Yeah, so it allows for basically all forms of traffic study to be done at one time. So historically, you would see the strips on
rubber
the
line
pavement,
across the
and you'd
road.
run over, and
Yeah.
it would know that a vehicle or if multiple tires hit it, and it would know it was a semi-truck. But this allows it to figure out not only what type of vehicle is, whether there's pedestrians involved in the transportation network, which direction they're going, what lane they're in, and it just gives a much more robust study when we're looking for safety solutions.
Okay, that's great.
So Mike, talk a little bit about where Wells County Trails is in the process. So you fundraised $90,000. There's also been a lot of support from a local engineering company, so we may talk about them a little bit and give them some props. But can you just walk through for the public what the next steps as Wells County Trails would currently see it?
Sure, yeah, so to jump into that, so the very first thing we wanted to do, the goal of the initial fundraising effort was to get a preliminary engineering report done for this project. And that report was to help us fine tune where the trail could be located at, what are the potential hiccups in a trail development or any project that could happen, along with just helping us to judge what those opportunities are. And engineering resources came up big for Wells County Trails and for the city of Bluffton. They wanted to jump in and make an impact in the community. They just recently opened an office here at the Dutch Mill Plaza, so they're looking right at the intersection of this area and felt this was a project they could help bring some attention to. So they just wrapped up their preliminary engineering report. They evaluated north side, south side of the road, different avenues for how it could be constructed, because one of the reasons why this trail hasn't been built yet is because there's been several impediments that we just knew going in. There's floodplain, there's environmental
a landfill somewhere in the mix, isn't there?
We've got all sorts of things in this route. We have cemeteries, we have driveways, we have narrow roadways, elevation changes. Those things we needed professional help to take a look at and say that yes, they thought it was feasible to develop it in this area, and that is what they provided. So their engineering study did state that the north side of State Road 124 is the preferred route based on the potential developable project as well as the cost savings of trying to develop something that both made the connection to people that we want to see. The highest user is on the north side of the road, so staying on that side is important, but also that it can be built.
Okay. And it's not all we're doing trail-wise. There's more going on. Do you have more on that, Scott?
Yeah, so we've got the preliminary engineering study done. Wells County Trails has raised $90-some thousand. What's next?
Absolutely.
As we look to the future?
Yeah, so the next step will be to develop a fully engineered plan, so the building plan for the trails. So that would be the next phase, is working with the city of Bluffton to use the funds that we have brought in and other potential funding mechanisms to bring a fully engineered set of plans together for this project, so that when grant money or other funding mechanisms for construction would become available, the project would be ready to go.
And that's always one of those keys when we're looking for grant money, is to sort of have the project defined, quote, on the shelf that we can pull off. And a lot of the institutions that hand out grant money want to know that you've done all that engineering work up front.
Yeah, a lot of the times in those funding mechanisms, whether they have lots of strings attached like a federal grant program or even philanthropic opportunities, they want to be able to see that, okay, if I donate money towards this, it can actually happen.
Right.
They don't want to develop or put money towards something that
Can't happen.
That
Right,
is
yeah. It's
maybe
not feasible.
still a question mark. So that is what we would be working towards next with the partnership with the city to get those engineering plans done.
And that'll take sort of the preliminary numbers that we have now, make them a little bit more concrete, but we think we sort of know where the project would need to be from a total all-in perspective.
Yeah, so the proposed amount is 1.6 million, which does include on the far east side of the trail a pedestrian bridge that would then be used to connect either further east along 124 or then south along Elm Grove Road.
And just to give some people some context, we're talking about a stretch of road which is how long again?
That's just about a mile.
A mile, $1.6 million.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
So you think about 1 mile, $1.6 million. So let's just sort of park that for a second and let's go back and talk about all of the other things that Wells County Trails and our community has done to date, because we've put a lot of trails in place.
Yeah, so trail history in Wells County was really started back in the 90s with the River Greenway being developed. And that was kind of the beginning of trails and the interest in trails in the community. It both created the opportunity for people to get out and enjoy a safe walking and biking opportunity. But then that really expanded to the first phase of the interurban trail, which took it to the next 2 miles running from the Main Street Bridge all the way up to the Walmart Lowe's intersection. And then here more recently, the stretch that took it out to Lancaster Park. In the meantime, you also saw the development of walking loop trails. You have those in Roush Park. You have conversations about sidewalk improvements connecting people to the trailways. You have the buyout properties there at Pickett's Run that have a trail network that connects to the River Greenway, and then the trail that connects to the Bluffton school system. So you've got a lot of things coming together in the city of Bluffton, which all are kind of pointing towards the greater Pocobash Trail network, which would take it from Bluffton north into Ossian, Fort Wayne, and eventually to the Pokagon State Park. Northeast Indiana.
And that's what the longest trail system, the longest trail pathway will be when it's done? The state?
Once that project would be complete, it would be the longest continual trail system in Indiana.
And the term Pocobash is for Pokagon State Park in Angola to what I call the Wabash State Park in Bluffton, but that's not proper locally, is it?
We shouldn't get into that. That's
another topic.
There's a whole different topic.
That is a great.
There's a whole thing there, yes.
But it's basically connecting those two state parks.
Yes, correct. And that is part of the greater DNR has what is called the State Visionary Trail Network, and that is one of the state visionary trails.
So if somebody wanted to contribute to the project or get involved in Wells County Trails, how would they go about it?
Yeah, so 2 parts. Wells County Trails is a non-for-profit. We are part of Wells County Revitalization, which is a 501c3 organization. So contributions to us are tax deductible. So we have a website, wellscountytrails.org. It's got information about the 124 Trails project. On there, you can actually see the engineering assessment from Engineering Resources and other information talking about what this project looks like moving forward, along with the other things that Wells County Trails is involved in, because we're a little bit more than just hard surface trails. We're also into opening up our waterways with kayak and canoe access.
And we've got a master plan that we're gelling on that down the road will include some new trails yet again here in the area. So pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, again, let's see, the area plan guy, AKA the Wells County Trail guy, AKA the Bluffton Now guy. Is there any other titles that we're
How many hats you have, Mike?
We'll stop there for right now.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Well, it's something that's currently on a lot of minds right now inside the city of Bluffton. How do we make this 124 trail project work? How do we properly fund it? A lot of activity going on, a lot of people doing a lot of things that nobody sees in terms of developing this comprehensive safety action plan, which will then lead to developing grant applications. And that work is not small.
No. It's a lengthy process. I don't think people have a concept of what it takes to get from the beginning to the end, but it's quite a journey.
So while you may not see a trail pop up in the next several months, just know that there's a lot of work going on literally every month to set the groundwork to make this happen in the future. And it wouldn't happen without Wells County Trails and the people who've been involved in Wells County Trails. And Mike, we appreciate your leadership in that respect.
Greatly appreciate it.
Mike, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah,
It was
thank you.
Next time when you come back, we'll talk fishing, because I know that's your real passion.
I would be
That's
down
your
for
core
that.
passion.
Is that,
right?
is that another title? Is there a fishing
There
title?
is.
in?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
I
explore
think-
that more next time.
I think he has
thank you.
another hat. Thanks, Mike. We'll be back with the second segment of the podcast shortly.